What do you know about Webtoon? Who can post? What's the difference between featured, canvas, original, discovered? How do I get paid? Let's break Webtoon down into some easy to understand bite-sized chunks. Hey, Walter here, and I get a lot of questions about Webtoon, and while I am not an expert, I am a featured original creator for my comic Hacksaw. Now this is the stuff I'm going to cover. 1, who can post on Webtoon? 2, will Webtoon own my comic after I post it? 3, will Webtoon pay me and how much? 4, can I have a mature comic, i.e. boobs? 5, how do I become featured? And finally, 6, what is the workload like? Now I know that is a lot of stuff to cover and some of it can be complex, but we're gonna break it down into a simple overview. Now make sure you like and sub. I am just getting the channel off the ground, so all of this stuff really helps the channel grow. And consider checking out my other videos. I have some other ones about Webtoon and also how to make comics specifically. 1, who can post? Anyone can post. Well, technically, according to the terms of service, you have to be 13 years or older. And if you're between the ages of 13 and 18, you need parental supervision. You also need the rights to distribute the comic and have the rights to publish it on the website, own the comic, etc. But otherwise, ain't nothing stopping you. 2, will Webtoon own my comic? Now, I am not a lawyer, so you should go seek one out. But no, Webtoon will not own your comic, and this goes for both featured or the newly branded original, or Discover, which is now known as Canvas. Now, if you are an original, you will have some stipulations in your contract regarding exclusivity and copyright, but you will retain ownership of the IP, otherwise known as intellectual property. Number 3, will Webtoon pay me? Short answer is yes. Longer answer is it depends. Now, if you are an original comic, you're going to get a guaranteed monthly payment for the rights of publishing your comic on the Webtoon platform. Now, if you're Canvas, you get to upload your comic to the Webtoon platform for free, and which is a pretty big deal because managing a website is a huge pain in the butt. Now, on top of that, Webtoon does have an ad revenue share program. You do have to have 40,000 monthly views and 1,000 subscribers to become a part of that program. But once you do, you will start getting 50% of the net profit that Webtoon generates from ads. This is very similar to kind of like what YouTube does. Now, if we're talking about 40,000 views a month, you're probably not generating a lot of money, but if you're starting to get into the high 100,000s or even 1 million views, that might be a decent amount of money, but I have zero idea on how much that could possibly be. Number 4, can my comic be mature? The answer is yes and no. Yes, it can be mature. There can be stuff about in the sexual nature. There can be violence, but you can't have nudity and you can't have excessive violence. Let's check out what the terms of service says. So regarding stuff of the sexual nature, content that contains nudity or is intended to be sexually gratifying is not allowed. Bummer. Also, we do not allow graphic depictions of gratuitous violence or content that promotes acts of violence. You can talk about sex and have adult themes and also have some violence, but we're talking more PG-13, maybe rated R, and not R17 or rated X. Number 5, how do I become featured? This is the big one everybody wants to know, and I only know of 2 ways to do it. 1 is to be approached by a Webtoon editor and they will ask you to pitch them an idea for their platform. The second way is just to upload your comic to Webtoon, gain a readership, gain a following, gain the attention of a Webtoon editor, and they will reach out to you asking if you want to take your comic and make it an original comic instead. Now, is there a limit, a level that you need to get the attention of a Webtoon editor? I don't know. Obviously, the more readers you have, the easier it's going to be to get the attention of an editor, but you might also have the chance that the editor is just looking at comics and runs into your comic. So the more readers you have, it's going to be easier to get that attention, but it might not be the end all be all. So by all means, upload your comic and start worrying about the readership then, but just get the comic up there. Number 6, what is the workload like? Now, the workload can be as chill or as intense as you want it to be. Now, of course, if you're an original creator, you're gonna be posting new content every week, which is around 40 to 50 panels every week. And if you think about that as a traditional comic, that could be like 6 to 8 pages a week, which is pretty intense, especially when you consider most Webtoon comics are done by a single person. That means they're doing everything. That is pretty intense. Now, if you are a Canvas creator, you get to pick your schedule and do it the way you want. A lot of people want to know, like, how much do I need to post? And I can't really answer that. It's going to depend on what your life is like. And it's more important to post consistently than posting a lot of content. You want to make sure that you can stick to your schedule and post depending on like what your life will fulfill. You don't want to start posting like 5 times a week and then realize you can't keep that up. The readers are going to expect you to post 5 times a week, and once you stop, you start losing those readers. So it's better to post like once a month and post that content than it is to try to keep up with the schedule and wear yourself out. Hopefully that answered all of your questions about Webtoon. If I missed something, let me know in the comments and I will answer you there. If it's an insightful question, I will add it to a future video. And I'm gonna put links to all the important documents, agreements, terms from the Webtoon site so that you can check those out, which is really important because things change all the time and stuff could have changed since I recorded this video, which is in November of 2019. Which means, is this the future? Did a piece of my soul captured by the camera travel to your time, your dimension, your reality? Be sure to like, link, love, hug, and sub for more sweet, sweet goodness. Peace.